Okay, here comes the challenge. Multiplying matrices, definitely the hardest thing to do. Now what we're going to do to multiply, first, step one, we check to make sure that the inner entries match. That means the multiplication or the product does indeed exist. And then we're going to check to see what the outer entries are to form the order of the solution, the product of the two matrices. Once we know the order of the solution, we can make a little box to hold the places where we're going to put in the multiplication process. Now, it's not that simple. What we're going to do let's get started. Let's do step one. First matrix is a 2 by 2. Second matrix is a 2 by 2. Check the inner entries. They are equal to each other. They're both 2. That means, yes, indeed, this product, the multiplication, the product does exist. So we can go ahead and do the multiplication. Otherwise, we wouldn't bother to do it. Yes. Now check the orders of the outside entries. We get a 2 by 2. Now that is going to be the order of our solution. It is our solution order. So when we multiply these two matrices together, we're going to get a 2 by 2 matrix. That means we can go ahead and start this multiplication process by doing step 2, putting placeholders for the 2 rows and the 2 columns of this solution, this product of these two matrices when we multiply them together. Now, how do we fill in the upper left box of the solution of the product? We're going to multiply across the top of the first matrix, distribute that multiplication down the first column of the second matrix. Maybe I should put a circle or dotted circle. There's the top of the first matrix. We're going to distribute that multiplication across the first column in the second matrix. And the way we're going to do it is 4 times the 1 on the column, and then put a plus 8 times the 0 on the bottom of the column. And that will fill up the upper left corner. Then we'll move on to a different combination. Okay, 4 times 8 plus 8 times 0. That's distributing the top row down the first column. Now for the upper right box of the answer, the product, we're going to distribute the top row, 4 and 8, across the second column in the second matrix. So we're going to go 4 times 0 plus 8 times 1 when we distribute 4 times 0 plus 8 times 1. Okay, now look at the bottom. We already distributed the top row across the first column. That gave us the upper left corner. Then we distributed the top row across the second column. That gave us the upper right entry. Now we're going to do the bottom row across the first column to get our lower left entry. And then we'll do the bottom row across the second column to get the lower right entry. So what you want to see is the rows in the first matrix determine whether we're going to be up high in the first row or down below in the second row. Okay, let's do this distribution of the second row across the first column to get our solution that goes in the lower left box. That's 9 times 1 plus negative 2 times that 0. And then for the lower right, we have 9 times 0 plus negative 2 times 1. So you should freeze the video at this point and really make sure that you understand where each of those numbers are coming from. Now let's simplify. 4 plus 0, and then down below, up to the right, we have 0 plus 8, then down below 9 plus 0, then down below there is 0 minus 2, which gives us the matrix 4 down below 9, 8 down below negative 2, and indeed our answer is a 2 by 2 matrix, just like we expected. Okay, let's do another example. Let's multiply 1 down below 0, 0 down below 1 by negative 3 down below 12, 5 down below 6. Step 1, check the inner entries to see if they match. Well, we have to write the order first. It's a 2 by 2, and the other one's a 2 by 2. Look, I was trying to compare the entries in the matrices. No, you compare the entries in the order. It's a 2 by 2 for the first matrix, a 2 by 2 for the second. Compare the inner entries. They're both 2. They're equal. Yes, that means we can do the multiplication. Now to see the order of the solution, it's going to be the outer entries, 2 by 2. So let's get ready with our multiplication by drawing our 2 rows and 2 column boxes. Okay, they're not always going to be the size. There'll be different sizes depending on what you're multiplying. It's just that these two examples have the same orders for the solutions. Now let's multiply across the top and down the first column. That'll give us -3 plus 0. I'm doing the work in my head. Now across the first row and the second column, that's going to be 5 plus 0. Now across the bottom row and the first column, it's going to be 0 plus 12. And now across the bottom row and the second column, we'll get 0 plus 6. Simplify each of the entries. We get -3 down below 12, 5 down below 6. That's our solution matrix. And indeed, it's a 2 by 2 matrix, 2 rows and 2 columns, just as we predicted.